This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Of the 355 cases we've dealt with, only 14 were teen girls.
So who are the rest? Tonight, the father and son duo in Langford investigating cybercrime in the age of deepfake AI. Also tonight.
And there with a smile and just having an open heart, I think I just know I will make a difference.
Creating a rock-solid support system, a Nanaimo woman is heading to Tumblr Ridge to help bring hope to those dealing with the aftermath of the horrific mass shooting. Plus, Adam finds out how one dog walk inspired a back alley to transform into an art gallery featuring more than 100 pet portraits. Later on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Artificial intelligence has blurred the line between what's real and what's not real online. And now experts say young people are facing new threats. But two Vancouver Island men are spreading awareness on how to avoid predators and stay safe online. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson has their story.
There's an app now where if it detects that Bluetooth signal, it will send you a warning.
From podcasts to online investigations and hundreds of presentations for schools.
That is kind of how an IP address works.
Inside this homemade high-tech studio outside BC's capital, a father and son duo known as the White Hatter have made a career out of keeping people safe online.
Things are moving at breakneck speeds right now.
One of the biggest threats they're seeing is sextortion, a scenario where teens are convinced to send nude photos to a predator who then threatens to post them online unless the victim pays a ransom. And who is most at risk may surprise you.
Of the 355 cases we've dealt with, only 14 were teen girls. 14. The rest were all teen boys. Why? Because of the shame associated with teen boys.
Artificial intelligence has upped the game. Fake nudes can be created from photos on open social media accounts, so keep them private. And a scammer can now pose as someone else, even in a live online video chat.
Although you think you're talking live to a 16-year-old from California, it could be a 55-year-old male from the Ivory Coast of Africa with no front teeth trying to camp you online for sextortion.
The key to keeping teens safe, they say, is education. Parents making an effort to establish an open line of communication about what's happening online, and if your child is victimized, reacting the right way.
Their anxiety is spiking. They're in what we call red alert status, and they are just in a terrible mental health emergency sometimes.
The worst case scenario they've encountered, a young person feeling there's no way out and taking their own life. The wrong approach by a parent trying to help is lashing out.
Give your son a big hug and let them know, say to him, I love you and I'm going to help you. Because that's what the child needs. They don't need to hear, how could you have done that?
A final piece of perspective, despite the many threats that exist online, most experiences will be positive.
I do try to emphasize that with parents that, hey, most people are just like your kids, want to go online, have fun, and just enjoy life. Like a fingerprint.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Langford, BC.
Some tense moments at a Victoria High School this morning after an anonymous threat threw the campus into a hold and secure. The call came in around 10:15. Staff at the high school calling police after receiving a threat. Faculty then placed the school on hold and secure. That's when there is an ongoing situation outside the building and all exterior doors are locked. Classes continue to function as normal. Police cruisers and emergency response vehicles could be seen parked around the perimeter, and officers were stationed at the main entrances. A note was also sent to parents informing them of the situation. The hold and secure was lifted at 1 p.m. and a few officers remained on site as a precaution. After the unimaginable tragedy in Tumblr Ridge last month, the Premier vowed to do whatever necessary to support the community, including mental health supports for anyone who needs it. To that end, a Nanaimo woman is being deployed to Tumblr Ridge for the next 3 months. CTV's Andy Garland has her story.
After the loss of her mother, Janice McKee needed an outlet to deal with her grief.
I started rock painting, and it was a way for me to, get out of my head, right, and put it onto a rock.
The mental health and substance use clinician for Island Health says having an outlet to deal with grief and trauma is beneficial.
Whatever it is that helps you escape, right? And you may not know what it is yet.
And when Northern Health put the request out to mental health workers from across the province, like Janice, to head north to support the people of Tumblr Ridge, she didn't hesitate.
That's where I need to be, is to go and just try to put a little bit of hope in those that are there.
The small community of roughly 2,300 people is in mourning after one of the worst school shootings in Canadian history last month that left 8 people dead, several others injured, and a community forever scarred.
That's the hardest part to see. That's the little kids are gone.
She was a part of our family too. We've known her her whole life.
It's never going to go away. Like, we're forever changed.
Northern Health says there's one psychiatrist and approximately 10 other mental health clinicians available at all times in Tumblr Ridge. And services are available at the health center 7 days a week for a minimum of 3 months.
Everyone's going to be dealing with their emotions and their trauma differently.
Janice leaves today for 3 months and says she'll be there with open arms, hoping she can help the people of Tumblr Ridge find their escape from this unimaginable tragedy.
I think just being there with a smile and just having an open heart, I think I just know I will make a difference.
Andy Garland, CTV News, Nanaimo.
The province is working on new legislation that would expand safe zones around schools and establish new ones around places of worship. The province introduced safe zones around schools in 2024 under the Safe Access to Schools Act. That limits where protests can take place. Today's announcement extends those safe zones to places of worship and widen the zones around schools. The province says it's in response to a rising trend of vandalism and hurtful behavior targeting religious buildings.
In recent years, we've seen a really worrying trend where some really bad faith actors are crossing lines.
We're trying to say, look, someone's trying to get to their religious institution to pray, leave them alone. Let them do it and have your protest, but let people go about their business.
The changes would mean places of worship could post signage indicating access zones where disruptive or harmful behavior would be prohibited. Police would be able to arrest or issue tickets to anyone found interfering with these zones within 20 meters of the property. The Victoria Police Department says it's increasing patrols in areas where people gather for worship following recent events and geopolitical unrest. Vic PD says it's aware of incidents reported in Ontario that are raising concern within Jewish communities. It says out of an abundance of caution, officers are increasing visible patrols in areas where people gather for worship and community connection. The department says it's been in contact with a number of community partners and faith leaders and says at this time there's no known threat to any specific community or location. Vic PD says it's spoken with leaders across a range of religious and cultural communities, including Jewish, Muslim, and other faith groups in Victoria. The University of Victoria's Iranian community held a rally today on campus calling for a regime change in their home country. As CTV's Brendan Strange shows us, organizers of the rally say after 47 years of the repressive government, they are hopeful that the war will bring democracy to Iran.
With the war in Iran now spanning into its 10th day.
From the campus to Tehran.
More than 10,000 kilometers away on the University of Victoria's campus, a rally was held, speaking up against the current Iranian regime.
Iranians want regime change in Iran. Iranians do not want Islamic Republic anymore.
The message here, the current government is a cruel, authoritarian regime that will do anything to stay in power, including murdering its own people.
My close friend got shot on January 8th for seeking freedom.
He was one of an estimated 30,000 people that was gunned down by the regime when widespread protests broke out in Tehran, calling for a transition to a new system of government. On January 28th, U.S. and Israeli forces attacked Iran, killing that country's supreme leader, a government that has been in power for the past 47 years.
Military intervention has been supported by most of our community, I would say.
Including those attending the rally here today. Now Iran's supreme leader has been replaced by his son.
They're moving the leader from Khamenei to his son, which is not really acceptable.
The fear is that the new leader will be worse for the Iranian people than his father was. Iranians are calling on Reza Pahlavi, the son of Iran's exiled king, to be instated as Iran's new leader.
To save Iran, to save Iranians from the Islamic Republic.
They attacked me by knife to diminish me.
Siros Landi fled Iran in 2015, coming to Canada. He says he was attacked and left for dead by the regime after speaking out against Iran's war with Iraq.
Only for say my idea.
What do we want? Bottom line is people do not want Islamic Republic, and there is no legitimacy whatsoever to the leadership to the new leadership in power.
UVic's Persian Student Association says today was about informing students on campus about the atrocities that have taken place in Iran under the current regime. Although they are hopeful the current war taking place in their homelands will eventually lead to change. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Saanich.
Saanich police are investigating a random assault that happened in Colquitt's Park last night around 6. SPD says a woman was walking on a trail near Roy Road when a stranger grabbed her from behind. She yelled and fought the attacker off, and police say he ran into nearby bushes. Well, someone else heard the woman yell, saw what happened, and called 911. The major crime unit is investigating and is looking for a white man, roughly 30 years old and 6 feet tall with a medium build. He has brown hair and a brown beard and was wearing a black toque and black backpack at the time. Police are asking anyone with dash cam or home security video from the area to review their footage and call it in if they see anything suspicious.
5 degrees right now in Victoria after hitting a high of 8 earlier in the day today. A little windy as well. Wind around 30 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. More cool air, more showers, and more snow in the forecast. Details after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
Well, Josh joins us now with a Monday forecast, and what a change from the weekend.
Oh, 15 on Saturday, 13 Sunday, and then this morning, snowfall warning. This is what it looked like in Colwood earlier in the day today. You can see there was, in some spots, a couple centimeters worth of snow. We also had viewers reporting almost blizzard-like conditions in through some areas as you had the combination of snow and wind. Now, it's still pretty windy. And as we'll show you on the radar map in a moment, there are still some pockets of snow, not necessarily in Victoria, though. Wind is 30 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. We're at 5. High of 8 today. That's the coolest day in about 2.5 weeks. February 21st was the last time that we were below 9 for a daytime high. You can see the showers have kind of moved out now. There was the snow earlier in the day today, just off to the west and to the north. And you still have a little bit of snow here through some inland areas, especially higher elevations, I think, over the course of the next couple of days, picking up a couple centimeters worth of snow. So here's overnight tonight. It's quiet in Victoria, but further to the north, some more snow, rain out along the coast. That snow and rain drags its way off to the south and southeast through the morning hours. We get back into some showers or a little rain-snow mix in Victoria, and then it's just sort of off and on streams of precipitation. And depending on where you are, sometimes it's going to be rain-snow mix, and sometimes it's just going to be flat-out showers. As far as snowfall accumulation, by the end of the day tomorrow, not so much out along the coast of Port Hardy or in Tofino. But as you head further inland, as you get into some of these purples, you're probably going to pick up a good 2 to 5 centimeters of snow at least. Rainfall totals by the end of the day Tuesday, about 10 to 15, Port Hardy down through Tofino, about 5 to 10 for Nanaimo and Victoria, and then some heavier, steadier rain starts to move in here Tuesday night into Wednesday. So it's not just a cooler week, it's also a wetter week, and for parts of the island, a whiter week as well. Rain-snow mix in the forecast for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even into Friday in the north, with highs a handful of degrees below average in the 4 or 5 degree range. You'd be around 5 or 6 for the next couple of days. Inland areas dealing with some rain and some snow. Higher elevations picking up some accumulation. 6s and 7s for the next 4 days out of the west coast. Average high is 10. Rain snow mix for tomorrow. More like just showers and rain, though, for Wednesday and Thursday. In Comox, rain snow mix possible tomorrow with a high of 9, and then cooling off a couple of degrees there for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Periods of rain. Could be some steadier, heavier rain at times Wednesday and Thursday. Looks drier, though, for most of the island by the end of the week and into the weekend. In Nanaimo, chance of a rain-snow mix tomorrow morning, and then more like showers tomorrow afternoon, high of 7. 7 and some periods of rain on Wednesday, and more rain in the forecast for Thursday as well. In Victoria, 2 degrees tomorrow morning. Chance of a rain-snow mix in the morning hours. More like showers in the afternoon, high of 7. So even cooler than today, and breezy once again. Again, you're going to have gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour. Some heavier, steadier rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Some steadier rain Thursday, and then a chance of a rain-snow mix returning Friday, with temperatures 3 or 4 degrees below average all week. CTV Weather's brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. Interesting forecast all over the place, Nafisa, over the next couple of days.
We are keeping you busy. Thanks, Josh. G7 nations will not be releasing emergency oil reserves just yet, despite the huge disruption of the global oil supply that has gas prices spiking and world economies, including this country's, at risk. The price of crude briefly hit a 4-year high, but has fallen sharply, now below $90 a barrel. With the latest, here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
With pump prices well north of $1.50 in Toronto, drivers are feeling the wartime pinch.
$1.55. It's a little bit scary.
Yes, it is hard.
Concern only so much we can do from here, right?
And many wondering what happens next. Are you worried about it going higher?
Oh, absolutely. Like the world going on like this.
Following dramatic scenes over the weekend, including attacks on oil infrastructure in Iran and the Gulf states. Overnight Sunday, the price for a barrel of Brent crude jumped almost 30% to just under $120 US per barrel, before falling back to around $100 this morning. In response, North American stock markets opened lower, an initial sea of red, with traders fearing a lengthy supply disruption.
The longer this occurs, the more difficult it becomes for global oil markets.
The near shutdown of the vital Strait of Hormuz continues to worry traders, and major suppliers like Kuwait, Iraq, and the UAE have begun to cut production, unable to move oil. With one well-known price forecaster thinking gas prices could go up another 8 cents by midweek.
And every other day after that, probably 2 to 4 cents a liter until we get right to next Sunday.
Meanwhile, G7 nations have for now decided against releasing emergency oil reserves to ease supply concerns. After a meeting of G7 finance ministers, they wrote, "We will continue to monitor the situation," adding, "We stand ready to take necessary measures, including stockpile release." While as a major producer, Canada does benefit from higher oil prices, they can also lead to higher food and air travel costs, stoking inflation. Meanwhile, gas price expert Dan McTagg says if oil prices were to hit $140 US, he thinks the price at the pump could jump 40 cents or more. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Coming up, pet portraits. Adam finds out the story behind a back alley transformed by animal art. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally, Adam meets a woman walking her dog and discovers how a back alley was transformed into an art gallery featuring more than 100 animals. On the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Carly and Dijon.
One of the first things Margaret Halsey did when she moved here
I think I want to paint my steps.
was decorate the front entrance with her dogs.
So I wanted people to enjoy them.
Because pets, she says, help make a house a home.
They sure do.
But years later, Margaret wasn't so sure about the prospect of retiring.
It was kind of a bit of a gray period. So I was kind of feeling a bit like, what am I going to do now?
Well, she'd always spent time making art as a hobby. It wasn't until she walked along this back alley that day
I saw this naked fence, like this one.
that Margaret found a new purpose.
And I knew what I was going to do. I was going to paint dogs on that fence.
So she contacted the fence's owner and offered to paint a portrait of their pet on it, which captured the attention of other people passing.
And so people just kept looking at me and, what are you doing? And the dogs kept coming.
Then cats, too. And the more furry faces she painted for others, the more fulfilled Margaret felt herself.
And so just to come out and be, and just to share with the world, and when you're doing that, you forget you were sad.
And you see the positive possibilities, like when Margaret turned this project into a fundraiser, and donations from her pet portraits raised more than $8,000 in support of training local guide dogs.
We all have a skill, a talent. I think we can all benefit other people by sharing that passion.
And now, more than a decade later,
everybody keeps asking me, when are you going to have another fence?
Yeah. This back alley animal art gallery has expanded to include a second fence a block away, a couple books telling the stories behind each portrait, and ultimately connected the community through creativity.
Well, there's lots of things that don't make people happy in the world, and I think a dog can always make someone happy.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, New Westminster.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
A dog can always make someone happy. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.